Is the hair okay?
It's fine.
It's a bit wild today. The morning after,
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I was just about to do the back of your hair then, and I thought...
We could do this in our jammy trousers and posh tops.
We could have done, couldn't we? We could have gone for a newsreader.
Full down.
I realised that I haven't lippied this morning. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I think I probably drunk mine off.
Yeah, I think I did.
It's all right. We're not so jaded.
Absolutely, right. We may use some of that in outtakes, you know.
What we could actually do, let's do a proper outtake right now. Okay.
Okay.
Setting my teeth.
No, that looks fine. That looks fine.
Okay. You want... No.
So,
Okay. Yeah, that's all right.
Sounds like it.
Okay. All right.
Perfect.
Good. Good to go.
Okay.
It's silly, but it's cute.
Good morning, neighbour.
Good morning, Abby.
Is it even still morning? I don't know anymore.
Oh, we're just confused.
We are dazed and confused.
It's our morning, and I think that's the important thing.
I think morning should be measured not by time of day, but by how long you've been out of bed.
Or level of consciousness, because sometimes you don't bother to go to bed.
Well, yeah, true.
And then you have to still do a full day, but the night before became the morning of.
Yeah.
That's very sad when that happens.
Yeah, I think we suffer more now from not so much the morning after as the afternoon of.
Yes. And we were busy.
We were busy.
We had such a great night.
An awesome night.
At Soraya's.
At Soraya's in Barry. Yes.
Yes. Oh, Ben emceed, didn't he? Wasn't he great?
Oh, Ben did a great job of emceeing.
Yes, we know a lot more about him than we want to, if we're honest.
Yeah, far too much. And because he fits the 3-letter name model.
Yes.
He's eligible to be a guest with us one day, which I think could be mildly chaotic.
Yeah, because we've got a string of guests that are going to come and be on our podcast.
We do. We have lined up some lovely guests.
Because it's going to be 3 of 3, isn't it?
Yes.
Because of Abby, Ava, and somebody with 3 letters in their name.
Absolutely. It's the best way to choose your guests.
Well,
possibly.
It's not the only way to choose your guests. It is quite discriminatory in nature.
It is.
Yes, but so is everything.
But I'm sure we'll have people who try and get in on that by shortening their name, however badly that goes, to 3 letters.
Yes.
Just so they can get on.
Because there are crowds of people just clamoring.
Absolutely. Our hordes of viewer will be so excited.
They will.
To see our amazing guests.
Yes.
And in turn, their social media follower, or maybe more in some cases, will hopefully then tune in and grow.
Yeah, well, we've got a few people that we think are going to be really awesome.
Yes.
We need to pin them down.
We will.
Not physically. We've talked about this.
Not like the butterfly collection.
Yes, not like that. Okay. No actual pinning of any person will occur.
I promise not to do that again.
Good. Thank you.
Those days are behind me.
You promised. Would you care for some tea, darling?
Yes, dear. Let's do.
Shall I be another?
Please do.
It's a different teapot to normal. So I had to really focus on the trajectory so as not to douse you in hot water.
We had a casualty of war last
We did have a casualty.
A casualty, indeed. Shall I lump you, dear?
Go on then. Just this once. Thank you.
All lumping is fully consensual.
Can't say it, can I? I was going to say, shall I milk you? But it just, there's nothing about that is okay.
No, that goes downhill rapidly, even by my standards, which, as we know.
Yeah.
Low is still a standard, though, right? So.
Unfortunately, in this household, at this point, you need to inspect your tea for husky hair.
Yes.
It's so gross.
Well, last time I was here, I was wearing grey woolly tights.
Yes.
And I hadn't noticed at all until I went outside for a spot of fresh air.
That's what we call it now.
I looked down. My left leg was white.
Yes.
And the right was a slightly lighter shade of grey.
You understand now why I keep saying to you, you're going to be yetified.
Absolutely.
She will turn you into the abominable snowman.
It is possibly the only reason I will ever go and buy some lighter coloured clothes is for future.
Zuna, you're a style
future
icon.
Moments where I know I'm going to be lunared.
Yeah, you just witnessed me emptying my Hoover, didn't you?
It's the most amazing scene.
Wedged full of husky hair.
The Hoover got completely emptied, put back together, turned on, and half full instantly.
The hair
without it even being used.
In the hose.
Just, yeah. Cheers, darling.
Cheers.
Oh, dear.
Sweetie?
Oh, yes.
Would you like a treat?
I would love a treat. I shall have one of these to start. We have been provided with wonderful treats today from the lovely Soraya's Cocktail and Dessert Bar in Barry, where we frequently frequent and do comedy gigs at. Lots of comedy happening in Barry. That's nice. And so we've got a selection of tasty morsels today.
We do. It's so kind. And that's where we were last night, wasn't it?
It is. As we were saying, Ben did a wonderful job of emceeing. I've got to phrase this right. Or do I? No, I'm not going to phrase it right at all. Your opening was wonderful, dear. That's purely because I wanted to add an extra clip to our collection of Abby tries to break Ava and succeeds. That's becoming my favourite segment in the show.
Wait, we have segments?
I like to do, well, more segues than segments, to be honest.
Yeah. Yes. I think we should call some of our content ADHD AF.
If ever we rebrand, that may be our new show name.
No excuse for it, though. That was very sweet and very nice.
And there's a very unexpected crunch going on now. Sorry, viewer. A bit more crunchy than normal.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about textures and how important it is for people who are neurodiverse. That the textures, it's not that a particular texture you like or don't like or whatever. It's that it can't be unexpected. If you look at something and it looks like it's going to be creamy and then you eat it and it's not, it's something else, that completely floors a person like me. And I don't do slime.
No.
Of any description. No.
Slime is bad.
Yeah, kids went through a phase of bringing home slime and they wanted slime for their birthdays.
Yeah.
And they'd be taking this stuff out the bucket and I'd be like, I have a few kind of anxieties, you know this. I'm literally medicated for these anxieties so I can function as a barely functional human. And one of my anxieties is that things might not be where I think they are, and I might not be able to find them. Okay, now as a mother, I have a pretty good grasp on where things are. And people say to me, "Do you know where there's a pair of tweezers?" And I'll say, "It's in the drawer in the middle, left hand rear quadrant." And people go, "How do you know?" I'm like, "Well, it's really important to me to know because I need to know." Nobody wants to be in the middle of an apocalypse and not be able to pluck a hair.
Yeah, absolutely. So important.
Yes, exactly. And some things in life are just essential, and scissors is one of those things. If you want to really upset a mother, and I think I speak for most of us, although I can't presume that I do speak for everyone, but if you really want to upset your mother, and tomorrow's Mother's Day, folks, so you need to remember this, although it's
Do
probably not
not
very...
do this tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it will be in about 4 weeks' time that
it's
people
fine.
get to see
It's
this
fine. The
sort of...
trauma's the same. Move her phone charger. Ooh, steal her hairbrush. Oh, nothing wrong with using my hairbrush.
Mm.
But if you don't bring it back, steal her shoes. But the worst thing you could do to me, take my scissors. I don't know why, but I have a recurring nightmare. This happened the other day. I had this recurring nightmare, and it is so intense when I have it that I get out of the bed and I freak out because I think that that we're in wartime and there are some terrorists coming up the road, and they are very warlike, and there's guns, and there's like a huge horde of people coming up the road, and I and my children are in the house, and I have the car outside, and it's packed and it's ready to go because I'm quite a prepared person. So I have grab bag and I've put it in the car, and the kids are in the car, and I've put the dog in the car, and then I remember I don't have any scissors. And I'm running around my house trying to find scissors while a horde of hashtag freedom fighters is encroaching on the car that I have carefully put my children in. And the terror that I feel is so intense when I have these dreams. I feel sick for days afterwards. And this is why, because you said to me before, it's one of the most scissored houses you've ever been in.
Absolutely. I Ava told me about this a few weeks ago, wasn't it? And then, as you do, you become hyper aware. I was so hyper aware, and I stayed over in the spare room after a gig, and come downstairs in the morning to go to the loo. Walked in the bathroom, and I was like, "Now I see what she means." I think I spotted 3 pairs.
Mm.
It's like, where's Wally with
Mhm.
scissors?
Yeah, it's true.
It is. How many pairs of scissors can you find in this room? Oh, there's one.
I think in this room, I think there's about 14.
Just in this room. That's impressive.
Mm.
I have, I think, 3 pairs of scissors, and I generally know where one pair is because they're the one pair I use every day, and they go back in the same place.
You're scaring me.
And I even look in that same space exactly where they go every day. Can't find them sometimes. Just because instead of putting them in such a way I can see them, they're sort of side on,
Oh,
and they're not quite, they don't look like what you were
that's
looking
so
for,
risky.
I hate that when you put something down the wrong way and you get a different profile of it.
Mm.
And you look at it, you stare at it, but it's not what you're looking for.
Mm.
That
Perspective
happens
is everything.
so much now. I don't know where that's come from, but that happens to me all the time. It's weird.
It's just a perspective thing.
Mm.
But yes, we do have scissors all over this house.
Likewise, I suppose my closest similarity to that is lighters.
I can understand that.
I went through my bag earlier,
Yes.
and I have no less than 4 lipsticks in there. and I think possibly 5 lighters.
You sound worse with me and my Tampax problem. This podcast is not being sponsored by Tampax, but flipping well should be. Because, I mean, I'm quite open about this now because, of course, when we were younger, we weren't open about periods and things like that sort of thing that you have to manage very quietly. And things are different now. So, what they didn't tell me, my mother never told me, and she passed away when I was quite young. I think she would have told me if she was around, is what it's like to go through menopause. Because you think, oh, it's going to be okay. In school, they told me that when you get to around about 50, your periods will stop and you will live the rest of your life free from the monthly grind of having to manage periods. And I was like, that sounds idyllic and wonderful. I literally would have gotten pregnant more just to get away from the monthly. But it does seem like a long-term sacrifice for a short-term problem when you look at it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love all of my children. I've never regretted a pregnancy, just saying. However, there used to be sort of a rhythm to it. You just knew on this particular day, I'm going to start to feel a bit weird. And on that next day, the Crimson Fairy comes to treat you. And then she hangs around for the certified number of days and then she disappears and everything is fine until the next month, you see, and that's fine. But at this age, that's not how it works. At this age, it could be 10 days. It could be 40 days. Who knows? And, you can even track them. You track them on your phone. The phone goes, Crimson Fairy's turning up today. You're like, well, she's not. Clearly, I'm pregnant. And then she turns up for 20 days in a row. And the only way I know it's going to happen is that I start crying in any adverts that have puppies in them. And the whole world's gone mad. Everybody else in the world is mad. I'm the only person that has managed to retain any sort of sanity, and everybody else is irrational. And when that happens, I think, there may be a hormonal element to this current state of fury. So then I throw a tampon in my bag, just in case. Because you don't want to be caught short. You really don't. Some places are wonderful, and you sort of pop into a ladies' room and they'll have
a
little basket or something, and you can go, great. Some of them will charge you £1 for one that they've obviously gone and bought 46 in a box for £1, but they'll sell you one for £1, and you've got to use the special machine and turn the thing, and then you get your disappointingly tiny, and you're like, that's just not going to cut it.
Yeah.
It's just not.
You don't even get a couple of jelly beans with it or anything.
No jelly. Sadly. And if there's ever a time you needed them, it would be then. But no. So I've always put them in my bag. And true story. I did indeed drop red wine in my handbag. I had about, exaggerate, I say 86. I don't know how many they were. It's not like I was going to count them. Dropped a glass of red wine in my bag and sort of 86 of them self-deployed. It was like the Somme in there. It's just awful. It was like fishing them out. Well, my little one going, what's that, Mum? Like, I'm not explaining today.
These are special things I keep in my bag in case of dropping glasses of red wine in.
Well, motherhood is really difficult, but when the thing with kids, they can hear a sweet wrapper at 100 paces. Do you know what sounds like a sweet wrapper?
Yes, I do.
Yes. And that you will be swarmed in the bathroom by children who have heard a plastic unwrapping. And the problem is, of course, again, at that period of the month, you are far more likely to be sneaking tiny Fredo bars. So it's not like they're wrong.
Yes. What are they, 50p each now, the Fredos?
I do remember buying them, not in the UK, obviously, but I remember buying Fredo bars, or we used to have what was called a chomp bar, and I don't know what you call it here.
Chomps. They're sort of chewy toffee.
Yes. Yeah. They had a wafer in
Oh, okay.
Africa, and I don't think they did here.
No.
I was very taken by the advert because the advert had a hippo whose mouth would open very wide and he could fit an entire chomp in his mouth. And it was a baby hippo who would watch this and, wishing that he could eat a chomp. And my heart went out to that baby hippo because when they're little, they're not murderous, but when they're older, they are. You can't disrespect a hippo.
Oh, the way
They
it
will
was.
have you.
Yeah.
Will have you. So, this was all very important, obviously, in my choice of chocolate bar.
Yes.
And we used to have what was called a tikkie, which was 2.5 cents. And we used to go and buy a chocolate bar with a tikkie. Or an ice pop. And of course, it was really hot, so quite often went for the ice pop. Because I do remember when my brother was little, he was very picky eater when he was little. He was very, very skinny. And my mother tried to persuade him to eat his green beans, and he was having none of it. So to help him, she chopped them up smaller. And then he cried. And she's like, "What's the matter?" I said, "You made them more." Oh, he was
Brilliant.
cute.
That is the cutest kid logic, isn't
Oh, the things they say. Children are a delight. And then they grow up into teenagers where it's not undiluted delight.
it?
Yes, it can be hard going. Problem is, of course, they do genuinely know everything.
Levels, dear.
Thank you, dear. They genuinely do know everything. The whole world is so simple.
Oh, gotcha.
And they cannot hear you if you say it's not.
Yeah.
They just cannot. It's almost like it's like a reverse hearing aid.
Mm.
The moment you say anything that isn't instantly agreed with, it's just like
Yeah,
it doesn't even go in one ear and
my
out the
mum
other.
used to call it selective hearing.
I think your mother's probably right.
But no, the thing is, as well with, we always said it only that, oh yeah, teenagers know everything.
Yes.
These days is ultra scary because of the, proliferation of social media and YouTube and
Yes.
TikTok and everything else. And it's passed me by being of a certain age. I use the socials for self-promotion, and we've got the YouTube channel with the little offshoot channel for Absolutely Savages.
Shameless plug.
Shameless. I'm nothing. I've said this plenty of times. I'm nothing if not shameless and cheap. But yeah, they're constantly just glued watching a tutorial or a review of a film. They'll sit through a 2-hour review of a movie rather than just sit and watch the 90-minute movie.
Mm.
We will let that sink in for a moment.
Mm.
That extra half an hour they've wasted from their life by just not watching the film and forming their own opinion.
Mm.
So they know all about a thing.
Yes.
But they've never experienced it firsthand.
No.
Some of these kids are like, yeah, I could change an engine in a car. I've watched a TikTok. Easy. No, you couldn't. I know. I have changed engines in cars, and it's a little bit simpler. It was like the old Haynes manuals you used to get for cars.
Yeah.
Right? They were great. They were all photographs and exploded diagrams and all this. And you'd walk into any garage at that time, the late 80s, early 90s, and there'd always be a shelf of Haynes manuals for the most random, obscure cars possible. Because, at some point one would come in and no one would have a clue.
Mm.
And someone would phone up the motor factors and say, right, I need a Haynes manual for this car.
Yes.
So you'd have this shelf of Haynes manuals that were used once each for maybe 2 jobs at the most,
Yes.
and just left there gathering dust, just in case someone brought another car in just like that.
Yes.
That needed something doing. But these days, so much easier. They've got all that. Now, I remember saying to an ex's son once. We were chatting, and he was like, "Oh, have you seen this movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was great. I loved it. What did you think?" Assuming that he'd seen it, and he said, "I haven't seen it, but," because he was questioning me on it as well, the things that you think, "Oh, you've obviously watched it because you know about stuff." What did you think about it? I haven't actually watched it. Just watched a review on YouTube. And I'm thinking, well, if they're watching like a 2-hour review of a 90-minute film, can you imagine watching like the 16-hour review of Lord of the Rings? And that's just the first
It's
movie.
probably worth it, though.
That's just the first movie.
It's such a cool movie, though.
I love it. I've got the extended edition of all.
I
I love them.
imagined you would.
Yeah, I am. I am that person. I am that
Didn't need to
utter
ask.
geek person. No. Uh, hey, we talked openly last time about our shared love of Princess Bride,
Yes.
which we'd never even talked about before, and both of
No.
us just, and that's a rarity. That's great, but yeah, it just blows my mind that kids will do that, and just spend all that time watching these tutorials and learning about stuff or whatever, which is great. I'm all for people expanding knowledge, but there's a fine line, isn't there, between doing
Yeah.
that and doing it in a practical and first-hand kind of way.
I think, in a way, this new generation that's coming up are more savvy than the one before it.
Yes.
So, children who were born sort of, I don't know, 15 years ago, or 15 years earlier, so they're sort of now in their 30s, they um, they would assume that if something was published, that it was true.
Yeah.
And that's a real danger to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, older folks, like older than we are, also have this assumption that if
Yeah.
something is in print, it must be true.
Yeah.
And there's zero challenge of what they see. So I think it's really encouraging that youngsters these days do apply quite a strong critical analysis to what they read, because they're aware so much more than we are
Yeah. Yeah.
of AI and the influence of computer generated imaging. And I saw a little clip, just a little clip of a husky jumping into snow, and I thought it was completely adorable. And my daughter picked it up. She went, "It's AI, Mum," put it down, walked away. And I was like, didn't occur to me that it might be.
Yeah.
And I was genuinely sad because I want the husky to be in the snow.
Yeah.
I do.
So cute.
And I also want to see Trump blown up like a balloon and float off.
Yeah, and there's so many wonderful uses of AI.
Yeah, what I
Wish
want to
we
know
could
is
know.
how we can translate that into reality. Because I think sometimes I do not condone violence. We do not condone violence.
Ava does not condone violence. We do not condone.
No.
No.
We may
No.
be
Absolutely
absolutely savages.
But we're not total
We are
savages.
not total savages. However,
We haven't cheersed this cuppa, right?
that's shocking
I
behavior.
know.
But if you had to vote for somebody to be turned into a giant orange balloon and float away, I would vote for Trump. And you know what? He would be happy because someone would have voted for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would make him
That
happy.
would be one vote that wouldn't have to be rigged.
It wouldn't have to be rigged. It would delight him. It would delight me. It would delight the rest of the world.
Yeah.
It is a win-win-win-win-win
It's
situation.
more wins than something with lots of wins.
Anyway, so if I completely disappear and cannot be found, I'm just in Guantanamo Bay. Don't worry.
And if after this episode of the podcast you cannot ever find this podcast ever again, you know why.
You do know why? We've been cancelled, like literally.
We've been totally cancelled and
Deleted.
Completely erased from existence.
We're going to have to get good at hiding our files.
Would you care for another treat? Yeah.
Oh, I could be forced. I could. I think I'll try this one, please. Thank you.
I had my eye on one with a chocolate button because I do love a chocolate button.
We've left half a chocolate button.
Oh, thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
You know I love a chocolate button from our road trips,
Yes.
which are fueled by, but not sponsored by, I guess the theme of today's show. Jelly babies,
Yes.
randoms, and
Yes.
chocolate buttons
Yes.
sustain us over many hours of road trips.
I mean, to be fair, that is probably cheaper than petrol. So,
If only they could fuel the car as well as
if
they fuel
only.
us.
If only. I mean, I named my car Clarice and tried to fuel her with Chianti, but it doesn't work.
No.
Um,
And the fava beans got stuck in the fuel line probably as well.
Yeah. Yeah. She didn't like them. But she's not wearing anybody's face. So I feel like,
Yeah,
swings and
that's good.
roundabouts.
That's good.
Yeah.
Maybe get a little Hannibal Lecter mask made up to go over the the actual logo for the brand of the car. Which I'm not saying because we've got enough non-sponsored sponsorship for this.
And I feel like we do need another disclaimer now that we do not promote serial killing in any form.
Not at all.
No, we are no fans of psychopathy of any description.
No.
Despite the traits we display.
Yes. When the previous episode does go up, and then you watch that, and then you watch this one, you'll understand the reference. And now I have to be supervised at all.
Yeah. Until you slip your leash, obviously.
Of
like
course,
the dog.
of course. I am going to study Luna for tips.
She's funny.
I think after that small bout of lunacy, we shall have a little break.
Yes.
Possibly refresh the teapot.
It's looking tired.
And come back with not only more matters of the day, we may actually finish telling the lovely viewers about the gig last night because we haven't managed to get far, really.
No, you make a valid point.
We have managed to segue ourselves massively every time we've started talking about it.
ADHD AF.
Great. ADHD AF segment of the show is sponsored by
Hashtag unmedicated.
Hashtag undiagnosed in my case. But we know, right?
But we know.
We know.
Cool.
There's one way to tell, isn't there?
Yeah.
Is that person a comedian? Well, there's a very good chance. Right,
All
lovely
comedians.
viewer. We will be back very soon. Cheers, Zoe.
Cheers. Ah, very nice too.
Yes. This is perfectly brewed for a change. Our second pot usually leaves a lot to be desired, doesn't it?
I don't know. We try our best.
We do.
Rather nice.
Right, so should we go back to last night's gig and just finish off that so we have some sense of symmetry that we've actually completed
That's
a
not
segment.
like us. Not like us, but yes. I mean, it was a great evening, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was so
nicely
much fun.
attended, and that always makes such a difference.
And a lovely audience as well.
Yeah.
Very interactive, very nice.
Yes.
Not horrible people.
No, Ben worked out very fast that the audience is in charge at that gig. There's the MC might have the mic, but that actually doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything when there's a certain audience member who
she does like to be in charge.
Yes.
But she does it well. So
she's very lovely.
She's totally lovely. Absolutely adorable.
I've got to tell you this.
Okay.
This is a segue on subject, though. So
oh, right. Well.
So, in the I think it was after the last break, Ben pulled out like a business card thing that he'd found on the thing. about unique facials.
Yes.
I made a bit of a play on that and everything. Our audience member, who was quite vociferous throughout,
Yes. Engaged.
yes, it's her business.
Oh, okay.
I was stood behind the counter watching all this transpire, giggling to myself like an idiot because I knew full well that was her business. And when we went outside in a break, following that, she came out and I just couldn't stop myself laughing because I knew what was coming next. And she walked up and kind of mentioned. And as we know, Ben died a little early on as well with one of the other audience members who he could not look in the eye after a certain point. It's just so funny. It's so
Yes.
funny how things like that work out.
Yes.
But yeah, that was so much fun.
Yes.
That was a great night. And then we had the wonderful, wonderful Stephen Evans closing the show.
Yes. He was great.
Always so good to see him. Such a lovely guy. So funny.
Oh, yes, everyone helpless within moments.
Insane. Completely.
The first ever time I've seen a comedian attempt to shoot a straw through somebody's hoop earring.
I know. It can't be said that we're not breaking down boundaries of
Yes.
comedy and performance.
Yeah, you're not going to see that at Live at the Apollo.
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Probably a good reason, though.
A very good reason.
But yes, so Stephen Evans did indeed insert a straw into a lady's hoop earring.
Yeah, and it was one of the most
surreal,
uncomfortable, surreal, and hilarious moments I've come across in comedy. And I wish someone had videoed that because no one would believe. Did they?
I believe the facial lady videoed that.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So I think you can ask her.
I will see if she's got that. I will get it off her. And I will also ask Stefan very nicely for permission to I'll at least send it to him.
And the audience member, who's such a good sport.
Yeah, I'm sure she will be fine with it because I know her quite well. So I'll ask her. But yeah, that was so funny. So funny.
It was great. It was great.
And it's weird with that venue. Yeah, we love that venue.
Yes, we do.
You know, I've literally missed one gig there that
and it was mine. But I'm not bitter.
Not at all. I was stood outside for your entire headline act because you were introduced on stage as I got out of the car. There was no way on earth I was crashing through the door.
You could have.
And like the darts teams last night.
Yes.
But there's no way I was crashing that. So I stood there outside with my friend, watching and listening to the entire set. So I didn't miss it. I just wasn't the engaged audience member I would have liked to.
That's fine.
But
it's fine.
I did have.
We've talked about this. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, I'm over it.
But you forget, I have been married and I know exactly what those words mean.
Fine. That's a wifey fine, isn't it?
It is. Fine. True story. It was a true story, innit? Back in the days when I was married, myself and my wife had been talking for a while about a big life-changing decision that a couple will occasionally go through. We decided we were going to book in at the same time and go and get tattoos. Not matching ones.
No.
Not like we were talking about last night with the praying hands and everything. Scary, no. But we'd pretty much settled on designs we liked. Individually, nothing matchy about it at all. But we had decided we'd try and get booked in together and go. I was off work one Friday afternoon where I worked. We used to finish at 11:30 on a Friday. It was great.
Nice.
So a friend of mine had say needed to get into Bridgend to go and see his tattooist, and various things ensued, and he needed a lift. I was like, I'll give you a lift in, that's no problem. In fact, I'd like to come along and have a chat with them and see about getting booked in. And then, because said friend was a very good customer there, he had a word with the tattooist and was like, and I had the art with me. It was something I'd drawn up myself. It was actually that one. And I had a chat to him. He was like, yeah, we can do this. That'll take about however many hours. If you wanted to get the outline done now, I could fit you in for an hour. It'll be X amount. I'm like, yeah, go on then. Text wife. They can fit me in to do a bit of my tattoo now. All right. Fine.
Oh,
There were a number of incidents during my marriage which made both of us learn something about the other. I learned what fine actually means coming from a woman.
what does it mean?
It's not fine.
Well done.
Really, really not fine.
What it means is, whatever you do, don't do that thing.
Yes.
That's what that means.
And she learned how literal minded I am, because I really, really can be. There were a few incidents, but that was the first big one, and got it done. And you can say, not a small tattoo,
No.
right? And she managed for 2 weeks, sharing the same bed, Mike. She managed for 2 weeks not to even look at it, while I could possibly be aware. She may have. I think she said after she did look at it while I was sleeping, and thought, oh, yeah, actually, that's all right. But she didn't want to let on to me.
No, of course not.
And of course, me being trying to be a bit of a peacekeeper, I was trying not to rub it in their face, as it were, and keeping it covered up and whatever.
No one likes things rubbed in their face.
Well, no, that's so.
They just don't.
No, don't rub things in faces. So, 2 weeks. She did not talk to me. And the first words she actually said to me were, go on then, let's have a look.
So what
Eventually.
you're saying is she was a petty queen.
Yeah, but that was followed by, oh no, she did speak to me before that. She spoke to me to say, I've managed to get a booking on Saturday. And a week or so later went and got herself sorted out with a said tattoo. Which very nicely was actually the one I picked out, because she told me roughly what she wanted, and I was like, seen it, it's this one. It didn't have camera phones at the time, so it was like, right, it's on this sheet, on that wall, whatever.
Yes.
And that sort of placated her. Then she got it done, and then she would then want to look at my tattoo. But yes, it's fine. It never is.
Fine.
The other notable incident, we'd gone to see a band we were big fans of, who I've seen many, many times, a band called The Levellers, and they were playing in the Lido in Port Talbot.
High class venue.
Very, very much so. And we were down there. We bumped into some friends of ours from the reenactment scene, and we were chatting away. And the one of them said, you should stay on afterwards with us. Because they were quite proudly displaying backstage passes. You should stay on with us. We'll get you into the backstage party. The band are actually old friends of ours, which it transpired they totally, totally were. Like, really good friends. Like, the whole band are the godfathers of their daughter.
Oh, wow.
That's how cool it is. So they were like, stay on with us, stay on. So the band finished, the area cleared out, and there was sort of security people or whatever saying, right, if you've got backstage passes over here. And we were waiting for the after party to be ready to go, kind of thing. And we stood there a while. And she was getting more and more skeptical about this. She's like, not going to get it. Not going to get us in this. Look, have a little faith in this. I totally trust that we will get you. Now, for context, she has faith in a fictitious non-entity that may or may not control the fate of humanity, shall we say.
Like Alexa.
Less tangible than Alexa. At least we know if we talk to Alexa, she will answer our prayers. So, as someone who has so much faith in the thing, had no faith in real people. And we're waiting, and she'd driven that night. And she said to me, I'm going to go and wait in the car. If you can get in, go enjoy yourself. And off she went. So I referred you back to It's Fine. And you see, for someone who is absurdly bad at spotting red flags and everything else in men,
blind,
I can tell you something like that from a woman, and there was the sharp intake of breath and everything.
Oh,
and
you didn't.
You stay and have fun. 12:30, after many beers, sitting and having great fun with the band and some of the support acts and everything else. Just had a whale of a time, and I thought, I really better go. I went down. Car park was empty, bar for her car parked right in front of the entrance. Stumbled in, sat down, put seatbelt on. Did not speak to me on the hour drive back from Port Talbot.
In your defence, she didn't have to leave you. In your defence.
Yeah, that is completely true. But, apparently I should have understood woman, and I only understood what was said to me. I was so literal-minded about it. And it's been a curse for many years. Even when I know I've known better, I've done it on purpose since then, knowing full well that
lessons not
people
learned.
don't always mean what they say.
No, sometimes the absolute opposite, if we're honest.
Mm.
And particularly with women.
Yeah. I used to do it to prove a point, which I think quite possibly was another early indicator that...
Well, a lot of women are like this, I think. I suppose a lot of men are like this too. I don't know. I'm no expert on men because I've never been one. But I am a woman, and I know that when I raised my children from being little girls into young women, they also do this. But my ex-husband once, we picked up my littlest from school when she was about 6, and she'd had a tough day at school. She was being bullied by someone who perceived herself to have a position of power because her aunt was the headmistress. And this child was awful to my little one. And she had had a really tough time. And she came out of the school and she threw her school bag. She threw her school bag on the floor and kicked it. And my ex-husband said to her, that is unacceptable behavior. Don't you dare do that again. And she just looked at him and he said, kick that bag again and see what happens. What do you think she did?
Of course she kicked that bag again.
She kicked it again. And he was like, ah! And I said to him, look, you can't punish her for doing exactly what you told her to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's quite difficult when you're a parent because we all know what he means.
Yes.
And he's right. He's right to discipline her. It's unacceptable, but she needed the outlet.
Yes.
What he should have done is given her something she could kick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, she was a petty queen, still is. Still is. Yeah. I mean, speaking of petty queens, it was an epic night out in Cardiff a few years ago, where it was my boyfriend's birthday. So we were going into Cardiff to celebrate. We went to an amazing gig with Gaz Coombs on it. I don't know if you know Gaz Coombs. It's kind of out there.
Supergrass.
Yeah. Oh man, so cool live.
Very cool.
It was very good. We had the best time. The weather was perfect. It was May. It was hot. We're at Cardiff Castle outside. Everything was great. The atmosphere was fantastic. And then after that was a band that we weren't interested in. So my boyfriend and I went to the pub and we said we'd wait there for the people we went with. So this other couple, we'll call them Dave and Deb, not their names,
Nicely generic.
to protect the not so innocent. So they wanted to see the headline act, and we were just not interested.
Yeah.
So we went and sat in the pub, spent far too much on gin, and when it was time for them to come, obviously the headline act had finished by that point, so the place was heaving, and there was a bit of a queue to get in. So they sent a text, "Where are you guys?" We told them. They said, "We're just queuing to get in." I was like, "Not a problem." And they said, "We're at the front of the queue." And I was like, "Again, not a problem. We got drinks for them. It's all fine." But they had to wait. And the woman involved said to the bouncer, "Do you know who I am?" And he's like, "No, don't care." And she said, "I don't wait in queues." And he said, "Don't care." And then she gave him a bit more of this. And then Dave said to her, "Can you not just calm down and just wait nicely?" That didn't end well. She hit him. She knocked him down. She punched him in the face. So the bouncer obviously said, "You, mate, in. You're not coming in." And she said to him, "Go in there and see what happens."
See, there's two major things there, isn't there?
Well, yes. And he did. He came in and he drank both the drinks because we'd got them already. And they were like £11 each. Oh my God. I know. We spent so much money there. One round was £70 and there was only 3 of us in at that time. Anyway, so we then proceeded from there. We walked up the street. We went to Pop World because they were open and selling drinks.
Yeah.
I got felt up by a woman. I was like, pretty sure that's arrestable. Pretty sure. I don't know. We were dancing. This group of women pulled me into their little ring of dancing. And one of them leaned over. She said, "Sister code." I went, "Yeah." She said, "That guy's watching you." And I look up and there's my boyfriend. He's just saying he doesn't do dancing. He's like this with his bottle of beer and he's laughing at me. He's like, "You go, girl." So I was like, "Oh, that's my boyfriend." And they went, "Oh, we thought you were with that guy." Was Dave dancing on his own, like standing around being drunk. And I went, "Oh no, that's my date."
Brilliant.
It was great. And I had a dress on from Cavissa. So Cavissa is great if you don't have a lot of money. I think I paid £10 for this dress. It was a soft jersey dress with a notch down here, a little bit booby, if we're going to be honest about it. But I can fill a booby dress. It's not a challenge.
You can.
But she came up to me and went, "Oh, are they real?" "Oh, they are." I was stunned. Yes, so that's how I got felt up in Cardiff.
I had a similar experience.
Same woman?
No, most definitely not. Christmas party in work. The month after I had returned to work, having transition. And my former manager, who was in a different area of the same department, was at the party. Lots of people there. There were lots of little sub stories that night. I nearly chinned him in a very unladylike way because at that time, so very early on, so I was still wearing wigs, occasionally. And I was wearing my favourite wig, actually. It was like a dip dye, shades of pink. Because we know someone loves pink hair.
Who?
Someone. Must be someone. I was also, because it was Christmas Day, I'd got a very sparkly dress.
Obs.
It was a bit boobish. That wasn't an issue because back then, prior to HRT, now and again, if I was going out, I would occasionally wear a chest plate. So, full, thick silicone kind of vest top with boots.
Okay.
Because if you're going to go out,
Gonna fill a dress.
let's fill the dress.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was outside having a cigarette, and he'd come out and started talking to me, and he just went, whap. I said, Dan, not acceptable.
No.
Do not do that.
No.
I'm going to pause for a moment. And then I said, name changed to protect the guilty. He's never going to watch the podcast, but I'll edit that bit out. That is not acceptable. So genuinely, this is your first warning. There won't be a second. I will punch you in the face. I don't know if you know this about me. Prior to me doing comedy, I was always known for being a bit of a joker.
No way.
Yeah, these days, not so much. So. But
it's the lack of minions.
Yeah. So, in fact, true story, segue, I know. When I was telling him initially, when I was having consultations and on the waiting list and everything else, I messaged him on a Friday afternoon and said, we were all working from home. I was like, are you free? Need to explain something to you. Because, so I told him, because I was going to have appointments coming up and all sorts, and eventually go down the path. And I told him. He waited about 2 or 3 seconds before bursting out laughing and saying, well, fair play, I haven't heard that one before. And I looked at him, we were on Teams call, and he saw my face. I went, you're not joking, you? I said, no. This is actually happening. I have not made this up for comedy effect. Bit too much effort.
I mean, it is committing to a joke.
Yeah, exactly. I'm known for, overcommitting
The long
to
play.
a thing, play the long game and all. But yeah, that moment. And so on this evening, the Christmas party that happened instilled enough fear in him that he walked away. Later on, we'd moved on to another bar, and he did it again. And I reneged on my promise to punch him in the face. But I did lean in close enough to be menacing and say, I wasn't flipping well joking. And he looked terrified and walked off. And that was that. I didn't see him again for a long time after that. But I think he was avoiding me in work. But it was a horrible experience. And it was one of those very early experiences for me that friends had warned me about. Some of my closest friends had said to me, just you wait.
Yes.
Just
Men don't
wait.
know what that's like.
No.
To have to plan that your walk home has to be in the light, that somebody has to be awake when you get home. So if you don't get home, they know to call and say, could you please search for a corpse?
Yeah.
Women have to live afraid.
Well, as you know, I am not an unconfident person in certain aspects.
Now you pointed out, I can recognize that.
Yeah. Yeah, I have my moments. And, there's a lot of layers to it now, obviously, because there's the perceived as female.
Yes.
Which, segue alert. I often talk. Well,
Yes.
oh, cheers, lovely. So I often talk to people about not something I discuss with myself. I often talk to people about passing privilege and stuff like that. And the fact for so long I did not particularly think I passed as a woman, but it also didn't bother me because I was at my most comfortable. I was happier that way, everything else. So that wasn't an issue for me. So many people hyper focus on it. So many people are like, I want to appear to be as feminine as possible to other people. I've got to a point now where random strangers at gigs will come up afterwards and say, "Oh my God, until you opened your mouth, I just thought you were a woman." And that's lovely. They always apologize before saying that, which is great because I'm like, you have just given me like a massive compliment. Please don't apologize for that. But, you know, as I say, close friends of mine said when we started going out together, they were very much, oh, you watch what happens. You're in a completely different world now. And sure enough, first couple of times there was a group of us out together, I had involved male attention quite a few times. And luckily, I could have body language and being quite threatening if I need to be, and a good glare as well, and from my mother. But if people were approaching myself or one of my friends, whatever, there'd be that glare. And the
Yes.
one friend who's very petite and blonde and gorgeous and will be hit on a dozen or more times on a night out. You know, she was turning to me going, yeah, this is messed up, right? This is not what you're used to. This
No.
is, you're seeing it from outside. And I'm like, oh my God. I
Yeah.
was never that sort of person. You know,
Mm.
we know each other very well. We can talk. There will be body contact. There will be that sort of light touching, closeness, whatever.
Yeah. And the rugby tackles.
Yeah, and shoulder barges and occasional headbutts.
Yeah.
But but I was never that sort of person who thought being up like that to someone and, you know, a hand on the small of the back or
Oh,
butt or
yeah.
whatever
It's
was
very
that's
intimate.
not
Mm.
acceptable for someone you are trying to crack onto at the bar,
Yes.
you know. And here I am now. I joke about I experience it from the other side, or at least watch my friends getting hit on. But I have had those moments.
Mm.
And there was one last night that I told you about with that
Yes.
drunk guy who left quick sharpish. And you're like, no. And some people just do not stop
No,
at that.
they do not.
And this is, you know, this is coming from someone who has gone from people looking at them going, do you realize how intimidating you can be? To then people, because of the way I look now, people thinking of me differently, you know. And as I say, it's a combination of things, not just the fact of looking female, but also my situation. I'm trans. Yeah, a lot of people are like that. That paints a target on yourself.
Yeah.
For certain people, it does. You
Yeah.
know, and
Thing is, femininity is not a simple thing. As somebody that obviously has been born female and am
kicked it.
very, thank you, born female, there's never been a question in my mind as to whether or not I'm a woman because I have just always been a girl.
Yeah,
And it is hard written into the core of me that I'm a girl. So I
yeah,
don't understand your position at all. I don't need to understand it to respect it.
mm,
And that's fine. But it is so hard to be a woman now. It's hard for men as well. I'm not saying it
mm,
isn't. I know it's very hard. They had a very defined role before. Get the money, be emotionally distant, get everything you want from your servant wife, die happy,
yeah,
you know, preferably without knowing anything about your children.
yeah,
Apart from the fact that they exist, and you must periodically throw a ball for your son. almost like a dog, but that's all. That is the limit of your involvement. And of course, that's all changed now. We expect a lot more from men now. We expect them to understand women. And let's face it, women don't understand women. So it's a big ask. But we can't really, I can't comment on that. But what I can comment on is how hard it is to be a woman and the expectations on a woman. So I was in a very traditional marriage, but I was also the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And that did not mean that I got a free pass on the house.
God, no.
I managed the house, the car, the childcare, the bills, the garden. I carried that entire burden myself for years in a state of exhaustion. And when we went on holiday, it didn't stop. When we went on holiday, all that happened was I had all of those duties to carry out, but I had to carry them out somewhere I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
And I had to keep doing
Possibly in the tent.
At times in a tent, yes. And particularly in the Isle of Wight, but that was lovely. Best time ever. But not easy. None of it was easy.
No.
And I have to be simultaneously a modern woman, which means I've got to absolutely have my act together. I've got to be able to succeed and do what modern women do. I've got to be able to get out there, be independent. I can change my own car oil and I can change my own car tire and I can change a plug and I can change a light bulb. I can do all of these things that we think indicate strong, independent woman. Can't get things off top shelves though.
No.
And can't put things on bottom shelves. But that's got nothing to do with being a woman. That's got to do with being me with the physicality that this life has offered me, which is fine.
Yeah.
I've got my head around that. But I'm still a strong and independent woman. And that's important. That's what you're supposed to be.
Sure.
And I'm supposed to stand up for feminist rights. And I'm supposed to be a model icon and someone my daughters can look up to as a strong and independent woman. I will stand up for the rights that were hard won for women, all of this. Okay. I also, if I want to be in a partnership, which I do, I have to be soft and feminine and sweet and pleasing to a person. I've got to acquiesce. I've got to do the right thing by that person, even if that means that the soul of me gets sucked dry. Doesn't matter, because I've got to be a traditional woman. And you have to shake off that. It's very difficult when you've been raised that way.
Yeah.
I was raised by boomers, you know.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
really didn't care if we lived or died.
Yeah.
Because if they die, if your kids die, if you're a boomer and your kids die, you just make another one.
My dad always used to say, you were raised by willful neglect.
I think your parents liked you, though. I'm pretty sure my parents didn't even know I existed for much of the time until I sort of would. I think I was pretty successful at school, and they liked that. They liked being able to say, well, we produced this child of a certain intellectual level. They very much liked my siblings, very beautiful, all of them, very good looking, very, they're not like me, they're kind of slim and athletic and whatever. And
Can we amend that to say conventionally beautiful?
okay,
Yeah.
conventionally beautiful. And they are, they fit a certain box, which I never really did. So I had to be very good at being wifey, and I'm very good at the domestics. I'm very good at the serving things in the right way and having the right table setting and all of that nonsense that at the end of the day counts for nothing. And I just absorbed all of that as a must do. So I had to be good at that stuff. I had to be good at being strong and independent as well, and a career woman and a breadwinner. And so much of the satisfaction I've had in my life and the pride that I have in the life that I've lived has been down to the career I had and the fact that other people's day was better because I went to work. That was really important to me. So you've got to absorb that as well. And then I want to be a great mom. I wanted to be a great mom. I wanted to read to my kids. I wanted them to know they were loved. I spent every day focusing on ways that my children would know that I love them. Even down to scrambled egg monsters for breakfast. An important culinary construction. And dinosaur mountain of mashed potato and broccoli and gravy and turkey dinosaurs. Convenience food, I know, but carefully structured to appear artisanal.
I, I, I'm intrigued by scrambled egg monsters
I shall
and
say,
dinosaur mountains and fantastic.
we'll do a culinary podcast, and I
Absolutely.
will
I think
feed
we
you a
should.
dinosaur mountain. But so trying to be that sort of super involved mum, which boomer mums weren't.
Mm,
They would, we were almost feral.
yeah.
We were thrown out the house in the morning and expect to come back in the evening. And I was raised in Africa. They're flipping scorpions. I climbed a tree once that tried to digest me. You know? So all sorts of things, you could run into real trouble in
Mm.
Africa. Maybe they didn't care. They had several spares. But when I had my children, each one of them was beloved before they were there.
Yeah.
And I've loved them completely and utterly, every part of them. The difficulties, well, I have a stormy relationship with some of my children, and doesn't matter. If they were to call me tomorrow and say, Mum, I need you, I would be there.
Mm.
And I didn't have that. So I want that as well.
Yeah.
But I also want to be funny, and I want to be a great performer, and I want my house to be clean, and I want my dog to be walked, and I want to be successful at everything I do. And the pressure is unrelenting on women.
Yeah.
Just unrelenting to constantly deliver. Because if you don't,
Yeah.
do you know what is said? This is what you wanted.
Yeah.
You wanted equality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a constant battle.
Mm.
I say it in the socials all the time. And, particularly that old school mentality. Women aren't funny.
Yes.
Women can't be comedians. Women
Yes.
don't make me laugh. And, it's something we both do. And a few of the
But
other,
make people laugh.
well, yeah.
We can't help.
Well, what we do
So funny.
is very much, we push those boundaries, right?
Well, yes.
We have that. I certainly have that at the back of my mind.
Mm.
Because, hey, I know a lot of the time minority acts as such have to work that much harder. They have to get that engagement
Yes.
from a crowd. It's, you're more often than not, you're a non-binary as such performer in a binary world. You're someone who does not fit that binary. Therefore, it's harder for people to naturally relate. In a similar way that a lot of audiences are pretty male heavy.
Mm.
That's why our audience last night was so nice. The majority, it was just, I'd say about 65% were female.
Yes. It is an unusual
And
venue for that.
it was a different balance. But the majority are going to be male heavy audiences. So then, again, you've got that connect issue where they're not necessarily going to connect to what you're saying. And then you do have that issue with things like objectification and whatever else, where you may have those unwelcome advances.
Mm.
But you've got to work your ass off. You've got to work so much harder to connect with that audience because you're different to them. In whatever way, be it being female, being trans, being gay, being whatever. You've got to break down that barrier more. So it is more of a challenge. And, there are so many. We've talked about a lot of the female comedians we've worked with on the circuit, people who are big friends of ours, and people we absolutely adore who are so good, and we're fortunate we get to work with some of them quite frequently. And it's so nice because you watch it. Like when we did that gig in Bath.
Yes.
And there was that guy in the
Yes.
bar who came up to you afterwards.
Yes.
And he, this is probably, a little bit of prejudice on my part. I was looking at that guy thinking, you do not seem the normal
No.
audience demographic to enjoy this type of show.
Yes.
Which was all female artists. He came out there and he absolutely loved it.
Yes. And he did say to me, I don't like women comedians, but you made me laugh. So that's going on my reviews, right under my she's not funny.
Yeah.
Ava's daughter.
Yeah. Random bloke in audience.
I'm going to put that on
Yeah.
there because it's actually a precious comment to me.
Yeah.
I don't like female comedians, but you made me laugh. Makes me feel like I've won a prize, not for me, but for female comedians.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he assumed we're not funny.
Yeah.
And because we make that assumption, if you make an assumption about something, it's really hard to get past it. So, for instance, I assume I'm not going to like this thing. I'm not going to taste it because I assume I don't like
Yeah.
it. And in fact, even if I taste it and I like it, I'm still going to have barriers inside that go, you don't like this. Why are you tasting this? You know you don't like this.
Yeah.
So for him to do that is like a huge step forward every time somebody in the audience, and it's not always men. There are women who say, I don't like women comedians.
Oh, I know a few who said that to me when I've been running all-female gigs. And
Yes.
And they've gone, oh, all women.
Mm.
But men are so much funnier. Hello?
Excuse me, I just rolled my eyes so hard I gave myself a stroke. There are
But honestly, it
people,
happens.
you know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There are some young men out there who are so funny and so relatable, and they can make everybody laugh. And guess what? There are women out there who are funny and relatable and can make anything laugh. And there are people who present as something that isn't one of those two particular categories, and they're funny. But we're not funny because of our gender. As a society, it's so bizarre that we're so fixated on genitalia, I suppose.
Absolutely.
So fixated on it. You know, the very first thing anybody ever says about you is what your gender is. It's the very first thing they say. Hello, mother. You have a daughter. We've checked between her legs, and that's what she's packing.
Yeah.
You're like, hello, mum. You've had a little person.
Yeah. I know. And there's so much criticism over the wokeness and this, that, and the other. And for me, it always boils down to the one thing: don't be a dick, right? And just think about the fact that, trans people exist, always have done. Intersex people exist, always have done. There are so many different genetic flavors going on.
Yes.
That, now that it's being highlighted and pointed out, it is bringing a lot of misunderstanding and hate and that misinterpretation of things, and certain, high-profile people kicking off against it all. And this is ridiculous, with no medical proof whatsoever on their side, but they're convinced that people are making it up for attention or whatever.
Yeah.
And for me, like you saying about, I don't like women comedians, but you made me laugh.
Yes.
My equivalent to that is most definitely when people come up to me afterwards and go, I don't understand anything about your situation, but that was really good. It was really funny. And I feel like I've learned something. And for me, that's great. That's like, wow, that's second only to, oh my God, I thought you were actually a woman until you opened your mouth. Well, technically, test my blood. I come back as well. But
that's just not a normal social interaction, Abby.
I still have to learn these things.
And people do sometimes say that people like me are a bit woke, and I'm cool with that, because if if the two options are woke and being a dick, I think we're going to go for woke if you're a good person, right?
Yeah.
But it's not that it's easy, though, because it isn't easy for someone like me, so traditionally raised. I was actually raised to be completely bigoted. I was raised to be racist, to be homophobic, to be transphobic, completely transphobic, although, that wasn't even really a thing.
No,
but the whole idea that somebody could choose their gender and people would go, that's just not, unacceptable. So for me, it is very difficult because I worry all the time that I'm going to say or do something that displays bigotry, because how I was raised.
Yeah.
I am naturally bigoted. My first instinct is often something that's quite bigoted. And I'm like, no, that is not who I am.
Yeah.
As a person, I dismiss that programming almost that I've had. And I dismiss it. That's not who I choose to be. But that doesn't mean I know it's the right thing to say, because I don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, this whole binary thing. When I grew up, binary was a language that we had to learn so we could program computers in BASIC.
Let me tell you my binary joke.
Go on then.
Did you know there are 10 types of people in the world? Those who understand binary and those who don't.
I never claimed to understand it, but I do like that. I do like that.
See,
I don't think
can make
today's
cultured jokes.
I know, so impressed. That's great. Yeah, we had to learn that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have to learn that now, because they don't learn programming in the same way they learn coding, which is different.
Yeah, but
we had to learn how to log in on using MS-DOS. They don't have to do that now. They have a start menu. We were not as spoiled.
Yeah.
But also, gender fluid when I was young was something you didn't want a lot of.
Yeah, it was something you'd have to clean up after you.
Exactly. It was like not considered. I'm sorry. But it's the truth. And now people go, I'm gender fluid. You're like, that's a bit big.
Yeah.
Why would you use that word?
Yeah, I think our understandings and that have grown.
Yeah,
and I think the terminology and a lot of things do need to change and evolve to better describe things. A lot of things, I think, are placeholders.
This is true.
As we go along now, we're starting to find the language for things better and be able to be in a position we can explain and help people understand better.
Yeah, and I suppose that's what we want to do, really, isn't it? We just want to promote the attitude of, if I say something wrong to my friend who happens to be trans, that's also cool.
Yeah, and we know each other well enough.
Yes,
that I know anything that you say is not meant from a bad place.
It absolutely is a bad intention. And I have other trans friends who I can also openly ask questions of.
Yeah. And I like to be that person I can be asked questions of. Obviously, doing what I do and exposing myself in front of audiences as a comedian.
She's been known to.
Had to take such a run up in that sentence to try and get it. To try and get it all out in one go.
Wow, I feel like we've put the world to rights.
We very much have, haven't we? It's been a very serious episode.
Yeah, interspersed with moments of idiocy
and hopefully hilarity.
Well, we're no judge of that, are we?
And if nothing else, tea.
Well, there has been a lot of tea.
We do put the tea in hilarity.
We do, and in proper tea.
Absolutely.
Yes.
In proper tea all the way.
Because we're very proper.
We are.
We try our best. Okay, we're trying our best.
Dear listeners, listener, watcher, viewer, people.
The hordes of audience.
We are currently functioning on something in the region of 4 to 5 hours sleep each.
Well, you did well then. I've just decided that we're going to call them our audience. Not because we think they're whores, but because they think they're hordes of them.
Yeah.
And I feel clarity is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important.
There's no wa.
Yeah.
There's no wa. It's just a audience.
So yeah, we're functioning on somewhere in the region of 4 or so hours sleep, maybe, after putting the world to rights over the promised drinks from the last show.
Yes.
The promised cornstar / passion fruit martinis.
Well, it's passion fruit, it was one of our 5 a day.
Absolutely.
In fact, it was 5 of our 5 a day.
It was 5 of our 5 a day, and the fruit juice I used was actually passion fruit and mango.
stepping out of the lines there.
So does that give us 10 of our 5 a day? Were we outrageously healthy?
You know what? I think we were
We were.
outrageously healthy.
Yeah.
You know, and this is something we strive for. We want to be elegant paragons of virtue,
Role models for future generations.
style icons,
Absolutely.
pathfinders,
Yes. Trailblazers, if you will.
trailblazers, and also just slightly weird.
And completely unhinged.
In fact, absolute savages.
Yeah. And on that note, she's been Ava.
And she's been happy.
And we are
Absolute
absolute savages. Until next time, good day.
Bye.